future of the John Goodchild Collection. This talk focuses on some of the records that we've found in the collection and what we hope for its future. As many of you know, John Goodchild was a local historian and antiquarian. He amassed this collection over his lifetime. It is believed to be one of the largest private collections relating to Yorkshire collected by a single individual. In November 2017, the John Goodchild Collection came into the care of the West Yorkshire Archive Service as stated in the deed of gift to Wakefield Metropolitan District Council. They funded an archivist for a year to enable us to box list so that we could begin the long journey of identifying and locating records and categorising the conservation needs of these unique documents. The project commenced in November 2019, but once the pandemic hit, the decision was made to pause the project in order to safeguard that funding. In October 2021, with the easing of restrictions, we got underway again with a huge sigh of relief. The records that we have discovered in the John Goodchild Collection have been quite impressive, and we wanted to share a snapshot of some of those records with you today. We knew of the existence of a few records in the John Goodchild Collection, records such as the Thomas Taylor notebooks. Here at West Yorkshire Archive Service Wakefield, we hold the series of these from 1852 to 1900, but there are gaps in the series, and those gaps are infilled by the records John has. The notebooks are an amazing resource, giving first-hand accounts of inquests from witnesses and relatives. The inquest, often held in a pub or inn, give an incredibly detailed account of what happened to the individual, details of the last time witnesses saw the person, and of course, a verdict. We knew about some of the colliery records that again complement the collections we hold here, but with these, what we didn't know is the extent of the material, nor did we know exactly what kinds of records outside of plans there might be. We also knew that, like us here at West Yorkshire Archive Service, John had records of MP Stonehouse, worsted spinners of Westgate, but it was unclear exactly what those records were. So we had a rough idea of items in the collection from past inquiries, but also from some of the lists that were put on National Archives' Discovery page. But as I said in the first talk, finding those records was an art form. Workhouse records, as some of you may be aware, workhouse records scarcely survived the old institutions being replaced and developed. Many records were lost, and this is a source of huge frustration for many researchers. Workhouse admission registers can give vital information such as date and reason for admittance, age, occupation or former occupation, and sometimes give us some background into that individual's circumstances that led them to be in the workhouse. In the John Goodchild Collection, we have located not only a huge series of Penistone Workhouse records, but also the admission and death register of the Wakefield Workhouse. None of these records were thought to exist, so that alone has been incredibly exciting. We have contacted Peter Higginbotham, who runs the fabulous workhouses.org.uk website, and he has kindly updated the listings to show that these records are held here in the John Goodchild Collection. We've also been in touch with Barnsley Archive Service, who hold what little records were previously thought to have existed relating to Penistone, in order for them to update their collections information and direct inquiries to us. School records. Throughout our service, we hold a lot of school records, in particular the Church of England schools, and one of the most requested series of records are the logbooks. Logbooks give us the day-to-day events within the school and those events locally and nationally that affect school, its staff and students. Things like outbreaks of disease, harvest time, weather, especially heavy snow, wartime attendance and celebrations. Logbooks, however, don't tend to mention individual students unless they were outstanding or little rascals. We have, however, got big gaps in the series, and for some schools, no logbooks at all. So we were delighted to locate the logbooks of Pontefract C of E Girls' School, 1886 to 1967, Kinsley Colliery School logbook, 1879 to 1909, Normanton National School logbook, 1867 to 1880, Keyingham Board School Logbook 1875 to 1900 and Middleton Sanatorium School Logbook 1950 to 57. Admission registers are also another frequently requested type of record. As with the logbooks, we have gaps in the series and no admission registers at all for some schools. The John Goodchild Collection has so far provided us with High Green British School Admission Register 1843 to 1856 and Altofts Common Mixed Boys School Admission Register 1872 to 1874. Roman coins. Well, John's collection is unusual for an archive service to accommodate in that it contains quite a number of artefacts and artworks. Under normal collections policies, archive services don't take in these items unless they are an integral part of the collection, and in this case, they certainly are. One of the surprises was hiding in a little bag. It turned out that these were Roman and European coins. Our West Yorkshire Archaeology Advisory Service Finds Liaison Officer, Amy Downs, investigated these, and although not part of a reportable hoard, due to the lack of provenance and evidence on where and when they were found, they are nonetheless a super set of coins to have in the collection with some unusual additions. Not all of the items found have been expected archives and artefacts. We've had a few surprises along the way. There's a wonderful little doodle in a notebook from the 1940s, and we often find caricature and doodles in clerks' books where the clerk has either had a slow day or not taken to their line manager, and this is a lovely little example. The woven donkey's head did cause a bit of a what the heck moment as it was started to be unpackaged, but luckily, instead of it being a skull, it is a woven donkey's head that has been placed in the Knaresborough wishing well and petrified. So that's given you a little glimpse into some of the items that we've discovered in the collection during the box listing exercise. But what about the future of the collection? Well, for starters, the collection will remain in our custody, where it is securely housed in the optimum environmental conditions. We will continue to enable access as far as we can to researchers worldwide. In an ideal world, the automatic next stage for the John Goodchild Collection would be to catalogue it to item level, but that needs funding, and the competition for funding is fierce. Box listing has enabled us to have an overview of what is in each container, the types of records, condition and date spans. Cataloguing lists records to item level, and in the John Goodchild Collection, sometimes a box can contain 500 pieces of paper or just one volume. Funding over the past couple of years has quite understandably focused on critical funding to help heritage services, big and small, survive through the pandemic. We can now look towards the possibility of applying for available cataloguing funding, but we are battling alongside many other heritage services with equally incredible collections relating to their districts. In the meantime, we need to do what we can to continue the work of the project, and part of that is our Sponsor a Box scheme, details of which can be found on our website under Sponsor a Box. The project is due to end in April 2023. The box listing information will soon be imported into our database so that it is searchable by the public just as our other catalogues are. Engagement with communities and education is planned for the remainder of the project. Volunteer possibilities. Now, during the pandemic, we had to halt the majority of our volunteer programmes due to restrictions, but in the coming months we will be offering volunteer roles on various records within the John Goodchild Collection. These will be a mix of remote opportunities where you can work from home and also those that require you to come on site here at the History Centre to work through the records. John left his collection for the people of our district, and as such, we want these opportunities to be open to everyone to apply for these roles. All we ask is that our volunteers are committed, enthusiastic, and have the passion to learn new skills. The roles will involve reading older handwriting, basic cleaning and repackaging, indexing and transcription work. The end product will help to enable access to researchers worldwide, whether that's through the transcription of documents or available index finding aids. It will help to enable that access worldwide. We will be announcing the volunteer roles on our social media channels, so please do keep an eye on them. And on our website, there is also a volunteer expression of interest form that you can fill in and return to us. And that goes for all of our offices, of course, working on their collections. A short series of What's in the Box has been recorded, giving you a snippet of items contained in various boxes. That is available to view on our YouTube channel. These are aimed at continuing to highlight the rich and diverse nature of records within the John Goodchild Collection. Thank you for listening today. I hope you've enjoyed taking a peep into the world of archives and the John Goodchild Collection.